Hi, this is Dan Heisman, Philly tutor for Chess FM, and this is the Improve Your Chess video series for ICC members. In today's video, we're going to look at a 40-40 game played here on the ICC between two pretty decent players. White's rated 1936 standard and black is 1857. All right, so white opens c4 English, could transpose into any number of openings, often into a queen's pawn opening. But usually not after that move, e5. And this line, for good reason, is called the Sicilian-Reversed. And now the real question is it going to be like an open Sicilian-Reversed? In other words, is black going to bring his knight out and play d5 and play as if he's like white in a Sicilian? Or are we going to get into some sort of other type of Sicilian-Reversed? All right, so white plays knight c3. The other major idea is to play g3 and leave the knight off c3 for a while. That used to be a fairly rare line, and now it's, almost as popular as knight c3, I think. But, all right, so knight c3, black plays knight f6, and now white, again, has a number of moves. He can play g3, he can play knight f3, he plays a3. Interesting move. Of course, very often in Sicilians, black plays a6, so a3 can be a helpful move. I haven't seen that move played very often in this position. It's not unreasonable. If you look at white's time, he played that move in 18 seconds, so we can assume maybe that he likes to play this system. Black plays knight c6, and white plays e3. Now this is the setup you use when black plays bishop c5, and if we reverse the opening, if white plays the extremely rare high school variation with bishop c4, then you're supposed to play like e6 and a6, and then go for d5 and b5. But when your opponent doesn't play an early bishop c5 here, which is basically the same kind of thing, it's a little more unusual to do this. Now notice here, if black plays d5, c takes, knight takes, we have a reversed, well, it's not a con because the queen's not on c2, so it's more like a reversed Taimanov here, where white, of course, has the extra tempo. Instead, black plays the unusual move g6. He has certainly squares where he can put the bishop on this diagonal, but he opts to put the bishop on the other diagonal, weaken his dark squares just a little bit, but not a big deal. And now, of course, white should continue normally with a move like d4. He plays b4. This gives the game kind of an independent feel to it. There's probably not too many games I've ever seen, probably none, that have reached this position. So bishop to g7, queen c2, castle, bishop b2. White's not developing the king side yet. And now black says, all right, let's go with reverse Sicilian, reverse open Sicilian. White, of course, trades the side pawn for a center pawn. If you don't know the principle, when you have a side pawn attacking the center pawn and you can take it and your opponent cannot take back with a pawn, then it's almost always correct to do so. So this is no exception. White has the side pawn, black has the central pawn. White can take, black cannot take back with a pawn. So therefore, it's probably correct to take. If you don't take, well, black will play d4, and that knight will get a little embarrassed. So pawn takes, knight takes. And now white has any number of moves. He can't play knight takes, queen takes, bishop c4 because of queen takes g2. So he plays knight f3, and now he is threatening knight takes, queen takes, bishop to c4, developing with time. So black attacks the queen. And now the computer says that white should just play d3 here. Instead, white plays e4, forking to pieces. And of course, that's not going to win a piece. Black has a couple of ways of